Well, hello my friends. Yeah, I am wearing a sweatshirt down here and a long sleeve. It's actually rather nippy over here as well. I shouldn't complain though, it's in the 40s or something. Some of you guys suffering with the zero weather, I know it's going crazy. Hey, today I want to show you a quick quick video on my circle cutting jig, and you're going to like this. So we're going to go right to it, right into the bandsaw, and show you something that perhaps you haven't seen before, and you're bound to like it. Now, circle cutting jig, you say, yeah, what the heck, everybody's got a circle cutting jig, right? Absolutely. And it's nothing but a slider on your table and with a positive stop, so it stops lined up with your blade, and that's where you got your holes going through. Basically, I got a 24 by 16. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how wide you make it. You can go a little bit wide if you want. You can make it longer. I don't think I saw any needs to making it longer than this, because the way it is right now, it will give me a 22-inch circle. From the blades to here, I got 11 inches. So basically, I skipped the first, I believe, 4 inches, well, 2 inches, giving me a 4-inch circle. I don't think I need anything smaller than that. And then I just went down and made a hole on the inch and the half-inch marks until the 11-inch. Maintaining a little wood here. I could still go up to 12, which would give me a 24-inch circle. There's room on this. So the overall board, like I said, is 24 inches. And I got 11 to the backside, which is not important. And I got 12 and a half towards the front edge of the table. Now, I know some tables have the slot going the opposite direction, but the idea will be the same, no matter what. Now, what's so special about this this jig? You know, and it's really not per se that it's all that special, but it is different. There's nothing worse than when you want to work and you put a heavy piece in the front, especially when you're back here, the whole thing wants to move out from the table line. And you know, you're going to be struggling with it. A quick, simple solution. First of all, let me show you what's on the back of the table. Forget this runner. This was an additional runner. I did not need it. This was for something else. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pop it out right now. For the real beauty, like I was saying, of this, so it doesn't kick up on you or tilt. It's very simple. So we got the runner. On the back side, put a positive stop. Something that's going to keep it, it's going to hit the table and not go any further, and that will establish where your line is for your holes. On the back side, front edge of your table, here's the trick. I got a short block, 3 inches long, and a wedge type cam that I can turn. And the height of this block should be the height of the profile of your table. So whatever your table is, 1 inch, 3/4, 1.5 inches, it doesn't matter. Whatever this profile is, the thickness over here, that's what you want the block to be, so it's the same thickness as that, and you screw it in place, and you run a couple of wood screws going through. You can apply a little bit of glue to this, and then a bolt with a nut inside of it, and you can turn it, and this will lock up underneath the back side of your table. So if I give you a tour, make sure that this lines up flush with your block on one side so you can remove it. Don't overhang it on both sides or else you can't remove it anyway. So that ends up flush and coordinated with that, and then like I said, you just turn it and this will keep the table from flapping over. Putting it in place is not a hassle at all. You just drop it in like you have nothing back there, and then on the back side where you have that little wedge right here, where you have that, you just turn it, and therefore it can't possibly come up. The front you can still pick up, but the front is where the weight is, so you don't worry about that. You don't have to double lock it. You don't have to do that same thing to the front of the table saw. That would be overkill. You could if you wanted to, but it serves no purpose because, like I said, when you put material on your table, you're putting weight is this way, and what you don't want it to do is lift up from the back end. While I had it in place, I also decided to give myself a 45-degree bevel cut on the piece. So if I want to do 45-degree cuts, and the way I did that is basically I started off and made the cut, tilted it a little bit, cut, kept cutting with more and more of a tilt until the table could not go any further. Once it stopped there, that's it. Just as an example, I'm going to move the pin out to something a little bit larger. Now the pin, I got a nice snug fit on that pin. It's not going to pop out on you, so you might need to use a pair of pliers, but this will work every time. And it will loosen up. And the pin, by the way, it's a common nail. I kept the tip on the front of it, and I just cut it to about 3/4 of an inch length. 1 inch length will be fine. So I got a piece of wood right there that I'm just going to recut a circle. It's already a circle, but make it one out of the square stock. And you know, if you want to know where the center of something is, if you put the flat side up against your blade, which you know you're not going to take any more than that, you can make a small indent to where you need to set your hole at. There's my mark. And And this drill bit is a little oversized. I did not need to do that, but let me lock it up. Okay. So pull the jig back, line it up. And lining up is one of the hardest problems with this type of a setup. Is that no matter what, you're working from underneath and you have to figure out exactly where your hole is. But there it is. Perfect circle. I ended up a little bit shy on the side, very little. When I set it, I guess that's the side I set up against the blade, and I was just a little off on this side. But it was just estimated anyway. Now, now to the advantage of having the piece on the back, for something like this, you know that it's not a problem at all. But sometimes you're working with, like I said, bulkier things, and you want to make some angled cuts. Gonna move it in. I'm going to move it in 1 inch. Style bowl, you could do something like this. You could always put a little notch over here to make up for the filler, but it's so darn close that you could literally glue that seam together and you would have complete circles, full circles. And with a saw set up like that, you literally could do some sort of an economy bowl very, very quick. This was just playing around. It's rough plywood. I actually was trying to see if I'd be able to make a cyclone out of this. I would be able to, but the rings would have to be cut in multiple, from multiple pieces, and 2 or 3 of the same size to make up for the spacing that I would need between here and here. They could not be straight cuts unless they had intervals of 1/4 inch, and so they have to be done in somewhat of an angle like I just showed, so they could still stack up on the top of each other, but they could be the same size. So I could make 3, 4, whatever I needed of the 8 inch, 3, 4 of the 9 inch, 3, 4 of the 10 inch, whatever, until I came up fairly close, and then I could true it up on the lathe like a bowl and make a cyclone. That will be coming up in the near future to replace or to do as good of a job as what I've been doing with the shop vac on the dust separator. I might incorporate that still to my dust separator that I put on my 55-gallon drum. And I think that will be a nice addition as well. Well, I told you it was going to be real quick. It's a circle cutting jig, will not tilt on your table. It's got a positive stop. Put your circle up, and whether if you're using it with the table parallel or you tilt it down to whatever angle you want, up to 45 degrees or whatever the table will allow, you have a perfect jig every time, and you can do something exactly 45 degrees coming all the way up in a circle. Perfect circle cutting jig. Scrap in the shop, doesn't matter whether if it's MDF or just rough plywood, whatever. All you need is those positive stops at the intervals. In my case, I got them 1/2 inch apart, and you can make it as big as you want. Put that stop in the back and it will not tilt on you. You will not lose your piece. You won't be struggling. You'll have an extra platform in front of your bandsaw table that will give you the flexibility to be able to put a big log in here and drop it up on the pin and spin it. No need to do the circle drawings, which is very hard to do if you're doing a natural edge, for instance. If you're doing a natural edge that's curled over, yeah, you can put a ring on the top and follow it by hand, and you will follow up that ring, more or less. This, you know where the center is, make a little hole, poop, drop it in, and zippo, and you're done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon.